Maybe.
Oh,
Oh.
we don't even get an entrance? This is it? We start.
Well, I don't know how to run this thing as well as Eddie does, but
Well, Eddie's dead, so it's okay. Holy horse! Here we are. We are playoff bound soon, hopefully, and ownership bound soon, hopefully. Lots of things happening in the last couple weeks. I'm your new host. If we tie, Kenny Alvo. And we have your other host, Sizzling Bacon, Max Bacon.
I
How
see.
are you, sir?
I'm good since you finally put your clothes back on and are no longer the nude quarterback.
I don't have a micromanaging co-host on here anymore. He's dead to us.
I'm honestly surprised that you're not actually like wearing a tie.
I should have. I did make that name about 6 seconds ago, so that's why
Well,
I'm just in my regular old racquetball clothes.
I mean, so really good game, kind of to be expected. Division games are always tough. It was on the road, so division games on the road to escape with anything but a loss is kind of a win in my book, the way I look at it. But how do you feel?
Very emotional. So we were better than that game. We are better than that game. I'm finally convinced we're like an actual good team now. First quarter, I thought we played like it, and then second, third, fourth, until the last 2 minutes, we did not. But in saying that, to come off on any division road game that's not a loss is a win, and so the tie I'll take, especially the way we did it. It was I had given up. I think I had a lot of friends texting me during that game in the fourth quarter that was like, "Welp," and then like when it was 4th and 4 and Heine rolls out to the side, you're going like we've seen this before. Like he's just gonna throw the ball away. Something dumb's about to happen, and the dude like that's why we love Heine. Like he doesn't play a great game, and lead like that last drive is like remarkable. We score a touchdown, we go to overtime. In my opinion, we got too conservative in overtime, but that's a whole other conversation. But like we had no business tying that game. And a tie did not hurt us one bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's like we kind of saw it coming. Heineke has done it before. He's one of those guys that whenever the game's on the line, he steps up and oh, look who decided to join us.
I was sleeping. I fell asleep.
Oh, must be nice.
Just for everyone that's watching this on delay, it's 10:13 p.m.
We decided to get started because we still have yet to go to bed, and we would like to do that at some reasonable time of the day.
I'm not the one that's so busy. looks over at the busy guy who's changed his name, who's going to curse us all with a changed name.
See,
what are you doing here, Kenny?
I told the micromanager's back, and here my name goes again.
I mean, is it not the name we've won with?
Look, I was gonna say, you came on and Max got frozen. Max is back though. Anyway, I'll take. I think a tie on the road in division games is good. Nothing happened. Nothing changed. As long as we beat New York next game, that's fine.
Yeah, because then we'll take our playoff spot back.
Well, we don't take it back. I think if we beat New York next game, we're basically in the playoffs.
And they play the Eagles this week, right?
Yeah, like New York's not going to win. If they do, then whatever. The season is ridiculous anyway. But New York should not win. We will be technically back in the playoffs if that happens, ahead of them. And then we beat them. We're a game up on them with the tiebreaker. I don't see them with their schedule and our schedule making up that game in 3 games.
Yeah, who they play the Eagles this week. I know we have a game left against Dallas. Who else do they have on their schedule?
So they got the Eagles twice. They got 4 games left. and they have the Eagles. Wait, no, they have 5 games left. 5 games. They have the Eagles twice. Let me bring it up before I start rattling off ridiculous nonsense. Give me a second. We're live, so someone talk about like asparagus or something.
Eddie, tell us how your
get
nap
this new
was.
shirt though.
Oh, I do like that shirt.
I do.
It's overly this $48 shirt.
It's nice. Okay, I got it. So the Giants play us, or I'm sorry, the Eagles, then us, then the Vikings, then the Colts, then the Eagles. They're going to win one of those games.
And hopefully not the one next week.
and that's the thing. Even if they win that one, I'm very convinced that we could still, if we'd have to win 2 of the next 3. Granted, that includes San Francisco, but with Brock Purdy, a 7th round Mr. Irrelevant, and then the Cowboys, who is going to be a tough game, but week 17, they might be playing Cooper Rush, who already beat us this year. But there might be a lot of backups,
which is even more frustrating. Like some of those early games.
Well, those were all Wentz's, and Wentz's I've ignored.
It's so frustrating though. Like when you think about it, like and even like the 2 games I was at, like they should have had that Vikings game. They should have had it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That one, the Titans game where Wentz was given like 2 yards to go. On the same token, we shouldn't have tied New York last week. We shouldn't have beat the Bears in what was the worst game I've ever seen in my life, where Carson Wentz threw for 99 yards and they had first and goal. There's a couple games like we should not have won that we won. The Atlanta Falcons game, where if Daron Payne doesn't make one play, we lose that game. So I think we're where we should be, honestly.
I mean that's this team though. Like they've done that for years, where they've won. They never just blow somebody out. That didn't happen until a couple weeks ago against Houston, right? Like for the first time in the fourth quarter, I was just like, "This is nice. I can kind of relax." That doesn't normally happen, right?
We get one of those every 3 years. I feel like, and a lot of them come when the season's 4-11, and they're like, "Hey, we're being the 6-9 team, 34-0." It's like I don't care. Why are we good today?
Yeah,
I think the last time they did this was against the Raiders a few years ago.
Yes, I was at that game.
FedEx. Yeah.
No. Okay, so I'm thinking that we did it against the Raiders in Oakland when it was Jamarcus Russell's last game, and
that was a long time ago.
Yes, but I remember because I was at that game and it was 35-3 Redskins, and I'm like, I don't have to be nervous, but it's we're also 4-11.
The only reason you had to be nervous is that you were in Oakland.
Correct. Actually, that was a really nice game because it was Christmas and no one cared.
Yeah, you'll be out that way again this Christmas, right?
And this time it actually matters, which is great.
Yeah.
So you're going to San Francisco.
I'll be in so I'm seeing the final 4 games. I mean, most people that go to the season tickets, we get 3 of the next 4 at home, but I'm seeing that 4th game on the road. And then if we make the playoffs, I'm going to all the playoff games. Doesn't matter where they are.
Yeah, we should. I actually heard somebody say the other day that if the standings kind of held as is, we'd be playing the Vikings in the first round, and I like our chances if that happens.
So the 3 teams that we most likely, unless there's chaos in the last 4 weeks, we're either going to be playing Minnesota, San Francisco, which will be interesting, Seattle. Whoever wins that division, I believe that's kind of it. I don't know if there's a situation where I think it's one of those. I think it's one of those 3 teams. If we make the playoffs.
Would you go back out to San Francisco again?
Yes, and this time I'd probably stay in San Jose, to be honest, because that's actually next to the stadium. Because that one I'd be less interested in seeing San Francisco. I'd be there just to see the game.
Hey, if the Eagles drop a couple games and the Vikings win the rest, and could be in Philadelphia.
Also, right. Also true. Oh,
wild.
God, please don't send me to Philadelphia week 1 in the playoffs. I would cry.
Kenny will get peed on in some way.
Yeah, I will absolutely get peed on, peed in, peed outside.
P. Ryan.
P. Ryan. Yes.
I did see that name the other day, and I just laughed that he's still around.
He's around. He's doing well.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a
he's
backup.
actually like even when Mixon's in, he's basically their McKissick now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
rip on McKissick there too. Ugh.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
You know, it's crazy though. We just spent like the last 2 minutes speculating on playoff opponents. Whenever at 1-4, we were all just on here crying.
1-4, I was speculating on, are we going to have the first, second, or third pick in the draft next year?
Yeah, right.
And now we're like having a legitimate. I don't even feel like this is like a biased podcast where it's like, man, hopefully we make the playoffs. Like we should. Any team in our position should make the playoffs. Like
I think we're close to my worst case scenario.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. The real case scenario went out the window games ago, but worst case scenario, right on points.
Eddie's worst case scenario, 12-4.
I didn't have the Heine factor in the equation.
I feel like going back, if we want to like look at that in retrospect, my prediction was 7-10 because of the outside interference. Because I said they're a 10-7 team that's going to get distracted, and I feel like they're actually overcoming the outside craziness because it's all like positive, kind of.
Yeah.
Where it's like, because all the news is just like it's changing soon, so it's like less of like on the players that have to talk about it.
Hey, Ron said, "Be patient."
Ron said, "Wait till 2071."
Yeah,
No, like
old slow ass riverboat Ron.
He had to be feeling it though that to say something like that to a fan base like this, he had to be feeling that something was about to change. I don't know whether it was they were thinking about benching Wentz and going to Heineke or what it was, but I mean we obviously have some good talented players on the team in positions that we haven't had that in a bit, and with good quarterback play, you know, we can be a contender like. Legit.
I'm gonna say this. You know, we're 3/4 of the season. I'm not as angry at Ron Rivera as I was like 6 weeks ago. In fact, to the point where if we can finish this season like 2020, where it's just like it started off like shit, and then he got the team together and we went on this run. Now 2020 was more absurd because we were so bad and then got as good as we could have gotten. This one, like it started as a disaster, and here we are looking good. I'm okay at this point if we don't just shit the bed in the season. If we shit the bed in the season, I'm back anti-Ron. If we do what we're supposed to do and win 2 of 4 even, 3 of 4 definitely, I'm okay Ron coming back next year. I hate Scott Turner still.
Here's a question I have for you, though, and I think this is probably more important. What does Taylor Heineke have to do for you to feel good and okay with having him as the starter in week 1 of next season? What does he have to do here at the end?
I'm going to say, so my opinion on Taylor Heineke has not changed since last year, even when he was like regressing a little bit. When we signed him to that 2-year, $10 million contract, I thought that was one of the best quarterback deals we've done in a long time. Because I'm used to 38-year-old, 12-year, $280 million like contracts. When we did that to Taylor Heineke, so Taylor Heineke to me is the actual best bridge quarterback you can have. He's not your future. He's not a guy that should be given up on. He's a guy that actually you can weather the team for a couple of years, build around him, and when the time is right, find your franchise quarterback. It does with him. It doesn't have to be tomorrow.
But is that next year? Like, are you okay with going into next year with him as the starter already?
1,000%, just like I was this year, and I thought he should have been. It was like, so if we get a franchise quarterback through free agency, through the draft, whatever, Sam Howell ends up being the guy. Like he's just all the hype in preseason next year. Taylor Heineke is here to bridge that gap until we got a guy, whether it's a week, preseason, a year and a half. I am comfortable with Taylor Heineke leading this team. Now, the thing I would start getting frustrated is if you start seeing the team overachieving or even just improving on we're a number 3 team on defense solidly. Offense, we have more weapons now, but now it's starting to be obvious our quarterback plays what's holding us back. That's when I'll be like, time to move on. Right now, we still have so many holes on this team that Taylor Heineke is the perfect guy to lead us through this time.
I think I'm with him unless I see the team stop rallying around him. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like this team loves him. and they play well behind him and for him. For whatever reason, he's got that thing that Wentz just doesn't have. Didn't have it when he was signed. Didn't have it before he was hurt, and it certainly doesn't have it now. I think I'm okay with keeping him and rolling into next year, though. I think you always have to have an eye toward the future, especially when it's even slightly in question with your quarterback, and I hope they do. But I don't want them breaking the bank and spending all this money. Like, I'm glad that Wentz didn't take 70% of the snaps.
Yes.
Like, thank goodness, right?
Right.
But I think you need to stop those sort of gambles going forward, and you need to look young in the draft, or young somebody that's available that you really, really like, you think has something here in free agency. I don't think you need to go for former first overall or whatever washout, getting a retread type thing. They need to stop doing that. They need to get their own guy.
Mayfield.
I've got a don't get us
we all
started.
know how Baker Mayfield is. Last in the league, like dead last.
Yes, this year
out of
he's terrible.
Out of qualifying quarterbacks, so that's 5 or more starts. Dead last in the league.
Let's not get into this. But I do want to say, I thought Baker Mayfield was great. Not great, but very good until his arm went. And now I've been watching this game tonight, and he doesn't know this offense. He looks awful. He looks absolutely terrible. Anyway, Max, you were going to say something about our.
He's got a noodle arm.
Yeah. So 2 things. I'll go ahead and start with my feelings on Heineke. Then I want to ask you a question.
Answer my question, Max. Jesus.
So number one, love watching Heineke play. Love watching the team rally around him. I think he definitely can win games in the current situation, but I do think his limitations does hold this team back. I mean, if you threw a quarterback in there to the caliber of let's say not even like a top tier quarterback, but say you threw like a Lamar Jackson or somebody like that.
Come on, now Lamar Jackson's he's a pretty top tier quarterback. I think people hate on Lamar a little bit too much.
I'm going to say you got like your Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen's, Joe Burrows, and then he's like a tier under them. That's what I'm saying. I'm not taking the cream of the crop. I'm taking like a outstanding quarterback. I think he's an outstanding quarterback. You put somebody like that, I think we've won 10 games probably. Heineke's winning games, but he's really not putting up a lot of numbers. We get close to the end zone again. We're putting 50% of the balls into the end zone. It needs to be a little better.
They're not asking him to win the game. They're asking him to limit the things he's not good at, so they don't win the game. The question is, can he do it when they put it on his back? And there's going to be a point here in this run where he's going to have to put it on his back. He's going to have to prove himself. He's going to have to test his salt and see what he's made of.
I don't know.
And you see what happens when he normally does it. Like he either balls out or he regurgitates interceptions and fumbles everywhere. It's one of the two always.
I'm not convinced he can, but what I do love about the guy is when the game is on the line, he steps up.
Yeah, 150% effort.
Maybe quarters 1 through 3. He plays mediocre. He plays, mid Baker Mayfield. He's not quite Baker Mayfield level, but
he plays. He has that bit of Brett Favre in him, like outside of misappropriating state funds
and that he doesn't have
that is his idol too, so like it makes sense. Like,
exactly, like he plays like that. Like that, you know what I mean? Like he's fearless, and I think that's part of his mystique and his thing that makes him like different than other guys.
I think Taylor Heineke would be 10 times valued better or seen better if his red zone. If he just worked on red zone offense, because the dude, we'll go down 60, 70-yard drives all the time, and we're kicking 30-yard field goals constantly.
Well, a lot of that.
Thank God Joey Slide's not terrible because we're making a lot of them this year.
Honestly, a lot of what we've been able to do, part of it's Heineke, but a lot of it is that we've actually established a run game.
Yep.
Brian Robinson's big emergence, it's been huge.
He's gotten stronger and stronger.
Yes, I
He's
was
had
going to say
some
he's getting
runs.
better and better.
He's had some runs where I'm just like, oh, okay, I didn't see that in him. Like I haven't seen that in him yet, and now I'm seeing it.
Yeah, on 2 bullet shot legs, I'm watching him. He does what I love about him. He gets really low, and then he's squatting, and he'll just drive 4 dudes by himself 5 yards.
But he also keeps himself if you watch how he approaches the line of scrimmage and the running lanes, he's got really, really good vision. And he moves nice laterally in that kind of position there before he takes and hits the lane. So you're never sure. He's looking for something to open up, and it happens so often. And then he does exactly what you're talking about after first contact, and he just keeps driving. Was the Eagles game where he had I don't know, half the team on his back, and he's you could just see him, and he's running toward the end zone.
It's amazing.
That better be on a sports card next year for him.
Honestly, Antonio Gibson, great running back, or great guy, not good running back, but he needed a compliment. Just
for sure.
Doing. Gibson's role right now is amazing.
He's been so much better too.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about him carrying the load or fumbling twice a game. Going back to
the end zone,
right? Going back to Heineke real quick. Is this not? Did we not sign him to a 2-year deal? And is this not the final year of his contract? And if so, what are we doing?
We got 1 more year with him.
Okay.
We signed him in the last offseason to a 2-year deal. And that's why I was really upset when we traded for Wentz. Not just because it was Wentz, but it was another aging, forget the name. It was just an aging quarterback for a shit ton of money. And it was but unless it was.
Wentz is in his 20s though, right?
Yeah, I think he's near 30 now.
Yeah, he's 29 or something.
Yeah.
We literally, I think.
Aging also because of his body. The guy's already broken. We don't need
that,
more broken.
It's that very, fragile ginger structure he's wandering around in.
I'm pretty sure if you go back to Hogging the Mic last year, we all said with Heineke, we're okay, give him a prove it deal and don't sign an old geezer.
Right.
And then what did we do? We went and signed
an old geezer.
I mean, he might as well be an old geezer.
And I've said this about Heineke since day one when we watched him in that playoff game. It was this dude. He's got enough to win games. You just need to put a line around him, which we could still improve on, a running game, which we has improved on, and a defense, which we've gotten much better with. And it's and look we're 6-1-1 under him. And I think everyone would agree Heineke's not elite. He's not even great. But if we have things around him, he can be a great game manager. And so it's working. This is what we needed. Why are we paying Wentz when we could have just done this from the start and took $30 million a year and given it to other free agents?
With that being said, Max, what is he? Has he already earned it? Like he has for Kenny? Is he already your guy next year? Do you roll with him, or what does he have to do to next year to be the starter for you? Does he have to do something?
Okay, so if nothing changes, honestly, if he wins a playoff game this year, I would be all in on him going into week 1 next year.
We build a statue of him if he wins a playoff game, and a real one, not the Sean Taylor version.
For me,
I want to get to that too.
I love Heineke. For me to sell out on him, he has to win a playoff game this year and look good if he loses the next one. And if
you need to win a playoff game, that's a big thing to ask for a quarterback in this franchise to be your guy,
stick
for a season.
Wait, quick, Max, who's the last guy to win a playoff game as quarterback for the Washington football team?
Last quarterback?
Yeah.
Let's see. When did we win a playoff game last?
But this is my point. That's why I get it. I actually agree with you. But it's for this franchise. That's why I agree with Eddie. That's an impossibility. You have to be wait a minute, what year was it? Who was even our quarterback then?
No,
Brad Johnson.
I was going to say
so it was Mark Brunell.
Oh yeah, it was Mark Brunell. Yeah.
In 2005.
RG3
Yeah.
should have won if not for his poor ACL.
Well, correct. I mean, we would have actually probably had a long.
If
Todd
not for the
Collins should have won that
field
game.
of sand painted green. Literally, it was sand
Yes.
painted green.
It's okay because where this conversation can easily go is all of that nonsense is about to go away very soon because these things keep coming out and Snyder's going bye-bye. And when we do that, we're doing an immediate podcast for 8 straight hours.
Kenny, we're getting together and we're partying.
We're going to the parade in DC.
Like,
Kenny,
yeah, we're going to DC. We're going to be head to toe in team gear, and we're going to put some away. Like they're gonna have to have 10 gypsy cabs just to get us home.
Well, the thing is, like, what's funny is you say that, but I guarantee there's gonna be like 100,000 people doing the exact same thing. Generations of fans waiting for this.
Oh, yeah. I mean it 100%. And I can't wait. I'm frothing at the mouth for it. It'll take some of this like bad taste that I've had for the franchise. It's just forever lingering out of my mouth.
I know a lot of friends who've like just become so apathetic, and they're like, "Oh, the moment he's gone, I'm back in." Like just go team. I don't care like what's going on, what the name is. Just go team. Just let's go. And I'm like, that's awesome. Like it's gonna be like we're months away now.
Like speaking of, and to transition away from some of the positive, because I think we got a lot of positive happening for once, and it's on the side of the franchise that you would want the positive to be happening in, right? Yeah, the team is actually good. They're actually winning on the field, but the off the field and the culture is pretty damn bad, apparently, or was a few years ago. And the author of that quote and Dan have been pulled through the mud here recently. I want to talk about that. Just some of the quotes you're reading, some of the stuff we're seeing coming out of some testimony.
They were amazing today, by the way. Every little blurb I read was like mind blowing.
And I want to talk about that you touched on for a second here. A couple weeks ago, we had the Sean Taylor email go out that says there's going to be a statue unveiling, yada yada yada. And then we get to the game, and we've all watched it. I'm sure anybody watching this has watched it. And you see them pull the black drape off of it, and the crowd it was very muted after that. It was like, because it looked like they found a leftover mannequin from Sports Authority that went out of business there in Maryland, and put a mixture of things that are maybe Sean Taylor uniforms on it. Like it's got a Nike jersey, which is incorrect. He only wore Reebok during his time. The pants were correct. They were Reebok pants. The shoes, they tried. They were at least soccer cleats. Thanks. The helmet was not the right brand of helmet. Like I think it would have been smart if they had done what was on his the Legacy Project merchandise and like taped the helmet. I think that would have been cool. And use the Schultz helmet as well. What did you guys think of this? What did you think? Like, I think we saw a lot of negative, like this team kind of with stuff like this, they kind of are magnets for it. I think it was an easy win for them because of how much people love Sean Taylor and just absolutely adore the guy. But to me, I thought this was disrespectful. I think the family probably liked it, but I don't think they were going to get like up in arms at this event. You know what I mean?
I thought the idea is fantastic. I thought the execution could have been a lot better, obviously. I think the biggest mistake they made was calling this a statue from day one. Like, if you don't call this a statue, half of the criticism's already out the window. I thought as a memorial, like what you don't see here is the actual shrine. Little thing that
the base part, yeah. And
I thought that was actually
there's like a hexagonal glass around.
Yeah.
That part was cool.
I thought it looked really good. Now, granted, if you nitpick it, like the jersey and everything, there's a lot of small issues with it. But for what it is from a distance, like they didn't have to do this. I understand
they can fix it. They can fix the problems.
I also think
you don't have to be rich. Like they own the franchise. They should be able to find a game worn or brand new Reebok Sean Taylor jersey somewhere, and the right helmet and the right shoes. You can go on eBay right now and buy them.
Honestly, I just thought you were going to be
Come
happy
on.
that it said Redskins on it.
I am happy that it's literally the one thing in the stadium, other than your if you look at your bank account, if you buy something in the team store, it still says Washington Redskins team store on it. It's the one thing in the stadium that actually says Redskins. You've got the little mural that was painted that has Sean Taylor on it, and the Redskins has been scrubbed from that. It's been scrubbed from under the shield on the jersey, the helmet, and all that. Like, it sucks. I think the Ring of Fame helmets around the bowl, taking it off there, I think that kind of sucks. Like, there's these
don't erase
things
the
they
history.
did. I get it, and
I'll
it's
go
again,
see
they decided it was what it was. That it was what it was. So they decided to remove it. So it is nice to see that, but it could have been a very easy win. You know what I mean? Like, how hard is it to do those things? Like, myself, I could find it on eBay. These items, like, they've got to have them. Easy win.
Like, I see your point. I think it was a really cool thing that they're actually doing, and the fact that they're going to get a new stadium, hopefully in the next 5 years or so. It's something they can move. Instead of having something permanent, they're going to have to tear down. So, I mean,
you can move statues. We've seen that over the past few years.
Yeah, but statues are meant to be, put in place and kept there. But I mean, like, I can see both sides of it. Honestly, Sean Taylor was one of my favorite Redskins of all time, easily. I was devastated the day that happened, and I'm glad that they're keeping his legacy alive. Like, he deserved it.
That's the thing.
He does, and they didn't lose that game too, which they've had a history of doing. Like, any of the games where they memorialize them, including the year after against the Giants, there they just got destroyed. So that was nice.
With the whole thing, I don't like. I feel like fans are just so upset with the organization and Snyder, which rightfully upset. People were nitpicking, I thought, way too hard. Like, I looked at it, my first reaction was like, well, that's kind of cool. Like, that's awesome. It's nothing where I was like, let me go inspect this thing and be like, ooh, Adidas, I don't like this. It was like, I looked at it from a distance. I was like, that's really cool that they did this for him. It's in the end zone. It's just like there. It's like a big Sean Taylor. Go Sean Taylor. And then you move on.
I didn't matter, like, the aesthetic of it aside, you know what I mean? Like, being a wire-framed whatever. I thought that was weird. Like, if they hadn't called it a statue, then they hadn't called it a statue, and then I saw it and everything was correct, I wouldn't have been bothered.
Right.
But, like, the jersey especially, like, the jersey just, like, jumps out at you because the collar on the Nike jerseys, remember in 2012, they never got the burgundy collar right. Like, it stopped and it had that fly stuff and it was white right here.
Yeah.
And it looked like a weird horseshoe. And then the next year they just straight up got rid of the whole burgundy collar and it's just white. And that's what this is.
Right.
It looks odd. That's why, like, as soon as I saw it,
I get that whole thing. It is like what it is. And it's like, they did it. And I thought it was a nice gesture because his team doesn't really usually do things like that. What they do is they misspell London Fletcher's name wrong the day that we're
repeatedly.
Right. And so it's like things like that. So, like, this was like, all right, you guys tried at least this time. It wasn't the best effort, but, like, this is better than, like, your interns putting the state of Washington on a mug. Because that's what we all expected to happen. Like, where they would be like, Sean Taylor, number 12.
I mean, like, the seal for the team during the rebranding that had the incorrect dates on it. But that's it's been par for the course for this part of the administration.
Right.
It's like they do something that should be an easy win, should be just like an easy, just like, knock it out of the park, man. Swing for the fences.
But that's why
I think they don't.
That's why I think we're all excited about the new ownership, because there's a good chance that with new ownership, one of the first things they do is they're like, we're putting a Sean Taylor statue in front of FedEx Field. It's gonna be 20 feet high. And then everyone's like,
easy.
Right. It's like the easiest thing in the world.
Easy win. Like, here's what you do. Bezos wins before they announce it, because there is a rumor, and we talked about this a little bit in the text chat. There is a rumor that Bezos has already bought the team, but they're not going to announce it until February, which wouldn't surprise me in the NFL. I don't know if you could really keep it under wraps for that long, but there's a rumor that Bezos, along with a group of other folks, maybe Matthew McConaughey and Jay-Z, I hope, that'd be cool, are going to be the owners of the team. And if that happens, like, he should right now have commissioned a fantastic, whatever his money can afford, artist, and have Sean Taylor just already created, and have that at the unveiling of him being like, and It's like getting your new owner, and the only thing I have to say is check out the statue. That should be all he says.
If that's the case, then it better be a statue of him trucking Mormon from the Pro Bowl, and that's the statue.
Yeah, I mean,
wanna see it.
like, let's do it. Let's do
Hey,
it.
I honestly I think there's some smoke to that rumor because Dan had to know how poorly this stuff was going to go, and if you think it's going to go poorly, you want to get the sale done before. So maybe that is true.
I could also see them not having it done, but having like a verbal agreement.
It done in
like,
principle, you know
right.
what I mean?
Because I think it would come out from some beat reporter or some lawyer that'd be like, leak, here's the money. It's just been there's a transaction. With a verbal agreement, it's like, all right, we're gonna wait till this date and then we're gonna put pen to paper.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, if they know he's got to sell, if they know he's going to be pushed out of the league, like the price may drop. So he may have been really.
Price isn't going to drop. This is going to be a record. This is going to be the record.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of
franchise
bidders,
sale.
I suppose.
Like,
but
it's going to be the record mark for
He's
an NFL sports franchise. It's easy.
Dan's getting backed into a corner though, and it's beautiful.
Yes, it's great. I mean, listen, if
I
Congress,
just hate that he's going to be rich. I hate that he's going to be
all
like he's
have
going to
to
be
just
even
accept
richer.
that.
After
He's gonna have to
He's
go-
already rich, so
right.
Yeah.
The fact that
maybe
Congress had
maybe he'll be in jail.
a 78-page paper today about why. Oh, but my theory. Here's my bold prediction. So 78-page paper about how Snyder just royally fucked up and fucked the team. So it's like, Snyder, you're done. Exactly. My bold prediction is that Roger Goodell is going to have to resign because of this.
I hope
Because
so.
he is
It
now
wouldn't
being
surprise
held
me.
just as guilty as this, and his only way out of this situation is to resign respectfully and then never be seen again.
And that's kind of part of what happened last year with the Gruden emails. I feel like they were doing some targeting there for whatever reason, because the emails that leaked all had something negative to say about Goodell in them, right?
Yeah.
Those were targeted.
Well, did you hear
those were
also
definitely targeted?
Snyder also went after Goodell apparently and tried to get him ousted first.
Yeah. Are you surprised?
No, I'm not, but it's just so that's why
Like a
so then
mob.
I guess they kind of had an agreement where it was like, all right, man, we want you gone, you want me gone. We'll do this together. And that was the corrupt deal that Goodell made. And that's why he's been so adamant about I didn't know this. Congress proving you wrong. He's like, but I didn't know this. Congress that was proven wrong as well. So he's being held basically as he lied to Congress. There's no good way out of this for Goodell.
Good. Bring Paul
I agree.
Tagliabue back.
I hated
his
him.
name is fun to say. His name is so fun to say. Paul Tagliabue. Say it with me, everyone.
No.
Paul Tagliabue. Come on.
It's going to be Commissioner Manning.
But say it, though. It's so fun to say. Just say it, Kenny. Paul
He's
Tagliabue.
98 years old now.
He's
Is he
80-something. He's still alive. But say Tagliabue.
Is he?
Just
Are
say
you
it.
sure about that?
I'm positive. But say Tagliabue. That's all I want you to do. Just it's fun to say.
Tagliabue.
See, wasn't that fun?
No.
Won't you be my little Tagliabue?
Oh my God.
He'd rather tie with the blue.
All right. He's 82 years old.
Honey
You don't want an
Tagliabue.
82-year-old running the NFL.
We've got one running the country, Kenny. It'll be fine.
That's,
Uh,
but it's not.
It's not been fine for a while. But it looks like good things are coming up. Maybe on that side of things, it's good to see that testimony finally coming out, because it's literally taken an act of Congress to get Dan Snyder out.
And they
you-
still
what is
don't
the
have
point of
the
leaving?
official report. The Mary Jo, whatever her last name is, she's still finalizing her version. And it's my God. But the fact that Congress came out and they were I told you, 78 pages of basically saying Snyder lied and was awful, Goodell lied. And it's well, that's not okay on it. Uh-oh. Now what?
Goodell lied and a franchise died. That's our new
Basically.
chant. And man, this is so depressing. This talk is so depressing. It's hopeful. It's hopeful. There's a little gleam on the horizon for us. I think as a franchise on the field,
Getting better.
it's better than worst case scenario, or it's almost worst case scenario, which
It's
is very
almost worst
good.
case scenario, which is better than
For me
regular.
and my depression, that's pretty good. But off the field, it looks like things are about to change. Like if Jay-Z is the owner, that's going to be the coolest thing ever. They'll have cool uniforms. Remember when he bought he was part of BK and like their uniforms changed? They were so cool. Come on, like they'll look nice. Beyonce halftime every show.
Please.
Like maybe we'll have like a little like a kind of Shakespearean play with like Matthew McConaughey at halftime sometimes, just in case it's him and Beyonce talking to each other. It would be great because she was a great actress. If you remember the was it The Spy Who Shagged Me? That one, she was great in that. Foxy Cleopatra. But the only thing to pull me out of this depression, could be.
Once again, it's battle time with the Marcus B. Hazelnut.
Don't you like my segues?
Where's my jive music?
Your jive.
Can't recite any poetry to this.
It's so good.
So I actually I'm using the poem I wrote last week before the Giants game because it still applies right now. Like nothing changed because we was a tie.
Just throw like something topical in there just so we know it's newer.
Well, you don't have to. I'm gonna tell you. You don't have to because I wrote this when I was happy about the team and it had to do with the Giants and it still does because that's who we play next. Can't do this music. Hail to the Commanders. Hail victory. Leaders on a mission.
Awful.
They're making me go, wee. The D is playing defense. Every single play. They're playing D so damn well, it's making me say, yay! Heineke is good at times, and Robinson's a beast. We're playing mighty hungry, and on the Giants, we will feast.
I see why you didn't have to switch that.
Didn't have to change it, because we still can do that.
What a weird schedule, right? Like,
yes,
maybe the weirdest schedule. And it happens every year.
And we have the Eagles.
There's something weird in there.
We have the Eagles to soften them up for us this week.
Right.
Good. And it's like a short week for them too, right?
I mean, I don't know. I think they play Sunday. Did you see Ron's comment about he wished that we got the Saturday night instead of the Sunday night game because San Fran,
go to San Francisco on West Coast.
Yeah, and I guess San Fran plays this Thursday.
Next
Thursday. Yeah, so they're gonna be on a long rest, and we're gonna be on a short rest.
So my thing is this though: if you're a professional football franchise, no excuses. Go out and win the game. I don't care.
Yeah.
Short rest, sport rest, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Kenny. You did lift my spirits. I was right. It was the right medicine for this wound. It's the salve of the soul. The Marcus P. Hazelnut poetry segment. My favorite, I think. We don't have a 6 sizzling keys, so we're not going to get to do the fun Blue Bard Cage thing this week, which is a shame. I know you love that. I know Kenny's big fan of that.
We don't need the 6 sizzling keys because we saw what we needed to do to beat the Giants. We just,
we only did 3 bacon slices last game. We
fell short
this game.
Do you know the record for everyone? Do you have that up?
I do.
What's the record?
I was going to say, yeah, speaking of Eddie's worst case scenarios, he's 2 games behind with 4 games left to play.
I'm going to have to make some assessments because the loser
hot chip challenge
has to eat this on the podcast. Kenny, if it happens to you, and I would love for it too. Pepto-Bismol, little olive oil before you eat it.
Yeah, you're going to have the first half of the podcast in my living room and the second half in the sad bathroom.
That's happened before.
Well,
a few times.
Not the way it's going to happen.
So do we if we make the playoffs, does the picking continue?
Yes.
Okay.
I think we can like kind of turn it into maybe a playoff scenario if we need to.
Also, I'm going to say this. It shouldn't matter because if we make the playoffs, all 3 of us better be picking wins until we either lose or we win the Super Bowl.
I don't know, Kenny.
There's no
Have you seen the
realism when
links
we
of
make the
have you
playoffs.
seen the links of my depression, Kenny?
Yeah, but we're the playoffs. It's not like there's no more depression there. We're
We're
happy.
gonna win. We're gonna win the Super Bowl, and Heineke's gonna lift up the Lombardi Trophy, and it's gonna fall on his head because he has a weak arm,
And he dies on the field.
and then he
from
dies on the
concussion
field.
Lombardi.
And once again, Kenny buys 26 quarterback jerseys.
If they go to the Super Bowl, I will eat this. In what is it, Phoenix? Right? It's in Arizona.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'll eat this in the stadium as the confetti falls.
I'm gonna double. I'm gonna go one up you on that. If that happens, we'll do that exact same scenario, but you and I will Lady and the Tramp that chip
On all
in the
fours
stadium.
on the field.
50
as
yards
the confetti
line.
falls.
That'll be the halftime show.
And Kenny, that I hope Kim's not listening. That'll be the most romantic moment of my life.
Oh man. So yeah, as far as records, I'm up to Kenny's one behind, and then you're one behind Kenny. So we each picked the Commanders the last 2 weeks when we didn't have a show.
The Giants.
Either way, actually, Eddie last week didn't commit to a team, so.
Well, I was gonna say you're lucky.
No, I didn't pick the Giants. I just wanted to say that in the middle of the game. Just,
I was gonna say,
like get Max
the Giants on that. I was like, the chip challenge is now over, and so you're so lucky they just tied.
I was just busting Max's balls because he's like, ellipses. Why won't he say the name? Tell me who you're picking. I can see the context of his ellipses, and it made me laugh.
Pretty much.
Well, so if Max is in first, Max, you got to do first prediction.
All right. So I predict we do not lose.
We're not picking. Yeah, we're not picking next week's game. We should just we should pick something else this week. What can we pick? What's a good
Giants Eagles?
Sure.
What? Why are we not picking the game?
Well, we'll do that next week, like when the game's actually being played, like in a normal podcast. If we got a off week here, we got a bye week.
We won't have anything to talk about.
Let's get spicy.
We might have a bye week podcast.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. We missed 2 weeks. We got a bye week podcast. We're clearing.
No, as in we have a bye week podcast. We don't have a podcast.
Yeah, we did that for 2 weeks.
But
during when games are happening.
We'll see how much. Let's see how much we have to talk about if we do a bye week podcast.
We might as well just do it now.
Let's do it now.
I have the hat.
So let's pick instead of the Giants game against the team. Let's pick the Eagles Giants. Let's do that for our game this week.
Why don't we pick our best case scenario and worst case scenario for the next 4 weeks?
We've already done that.
For the next 4 weeks.
We've already done that. I can't do the math from the first of the year to now.
We're either just doing straight up Giants game or we're doing Eagles Giants.
Yeah, Eagles Giants. I think we should pick just for this week. Next week we'll do the team versus.
Anything we're doing a podcast next week. We have nothing to talk about.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about
unless the team gets sold, we had nothing to talk about.
We got a bunch. I'll make sure we have stuff to talk about. We'll have a little.
Not writing a poem next week.
We'll have tiddlywinks. You'll definitely have a poem. It might even be the same one read again.
I already crumbled it up.
Oh God, you're so angry. Save them for posterity. And where's your thing in the background? Do you have your? Well, it's not time yet, right? It's not Hanukkah time, so you don't have the football. Menorah.
Yeah, right over there.
Oh, it's up. Okay, we need that in the background. We need some festive things. So
it's not Hanukkah time yet.
Well, when it's up, I expect to see that thing lit in the background, whether it's in San Francisco or not. So Max,
right.
Who do you have? Give us the line for the Eagles versus the Giants, and since you're number one, give us your prediction.
Eagles are a 7-point favorite on the road against the New York Giants. I predict that the New York Giants win 23-21.
Is this going against our records? Is this count for our records?
Yeah.
No, we're only picking Washington games for our records, but I still think the Giants.
This is the add-on. This is the prop bet for the thing. I know a game
prop bet like he knows what he's talking about.
I don't know shit. That means Means Riverboat Ron's going to sneeze on a football in the fourth quarter, and 2 poop nuggets are going to be in his pants.
It's time for the Eagles to lose another game. I think the Giants can pull it off.
All right. So yeah, it goes against Kenny. There's no way I'm catching him. Like probably. So Kenny, what do you got put on your? It's backwards for
backwards
this.
because it's not the team.
Okay. Just so you can see the
New York Giants have hosted the Washington Commanders last week, a team that was very hot, and they took them to overtime despite almost winning, only to tie the game. This week, the New York Giants travel, I think, to Philadelphia. I'm not sure because I'm not a fan of the team.
Yeah,
Where they go to the best team in football. The New York Giants will lose to the Philadelphia Eagles, but barely, giving me a heart attack because that's what they're going to do. The final score will be Philadelphia 27, New York Giants 20.
Kenny, we're almost on the same page. I'm going with less fluff around it, less gaga. I'm going Eagles 27, New York Giants. Like it's going to be a weird score. It's going to be like 19. Like they're one of those teams. It's going to be like a weird score. It's like Washington this year. It's always a weird score. It's some field goals and maybe a touchdown with a missed extra point in there. You know?
I just feel like it's going to be one of those games where the Giants are up in the fourth quarter. I don't know what's going to happen, but the Giants will be up in the fourth quarter, and I'm going to have my head in my hands like, why? Of all teams. But that's what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Eagles will pull it out, but barely.
Giants, Eagles are due for another loss. Giants are going to do it, but we'll see. And so we're not picking the Commanders and Giants game, even though we have a podcast with nothing to talk about next week.
We're going to have stuff to talk about. You guys have zero faith. You need to have a little bit more faith, like George Michael or Limp Bizkit. One of those guys that has
me and Kenny will have the podcast done by the time you wake up.
I work hard. It's the busiest time of year for my job, and they're working me to the bone. Max,
Apparently Eddie is Santa Claus.
No, it's the giving season. I work for a nonprofit, Kenny. You know, I'm just out here trying to save the planet while you're writing poems for underage children or whatever you do. Jesus. Well,
aren't all children underage?
That's true. That's a factual statement. That's a factual statement. Fair. Unless you're one of those things the women call a man baby or something like that, whatever that is. I'm sure we've all gotten that at one point.
Eddie, are you coming to the great state of Florida to watch the Orange Bowl?
No, I would have thought about it if it was one of those Allegiant flights. If I could get down there and back fairly cheap, I would have been really interested in it. However, I might come to the game next Sunday, Kenny. Had a friend that hasn't been to a game since maybe 2013, 2014 with me.
You mean the Sunday
that
night
was
game?
interested in going? Yeah, the Sunday night game against the Giants because I'm off the Monday after, and I'm off. My birthday's that Tuesday, so I'm going to Tennessee. Going to be there. Don't have to be at work. Maybe I'll go to the game.
First night of Hanukkah.
Are you going to bring it to the tailgate?
Of course I am.
Yes. I think I might come just for that, honestly. I think that might have been the cherry on top. That and the team is selling dirt-ass cheap tickets. I think it was like a pair of tickets and a parking pass for $99.
Yeah, and we're good.
Ish. And the last time they played on, I think, at this spot, I think they had 77,000 plus in the stadium. And this year, their average is 55. So are they going to top out at the most people this year in the stadium?
Yeah,
it'll be the Cowboys game, but
I think people, unless the weather is complete shit that day, I think this is a solid Commanders filled crowd.
Fingers crossed.
It's gonna be weird to watch us actually have a real football team for a couple weeks.
I'm gonna look at the old 10-day, 7-day forecast here and probably make a decision on that. Like if it's looking nice, I'll probably make the decision to do it. Why not? The only reason I wouldn't is because both games I've gone to this year, they damn lost.
Not anymore.
Is it me? Is it me? Is
Nothing
it
but
me,
wins.
Oh well. Look at us, all being all happy and stuff. It's strange. I don't like it. I want more sad casting. Damn it.
I do
I'm
know
kidding.
one thing we could talk about if next.
He's so
next
worried.
week.
Max was sitting there for 10 minutes writing notes, like things to talk about.
Eddie has to win this week in fantasy so we can play in the second round of the playoffs.
Everybody on my team is on a bye week this week. I swear to God.
It's stupid.
bad.
We need to talk to Miller. We got to shift the playoffs back 1 week because the season got extended. It's too early if you're having players on buys in the playoffs.
That's terrible. Don't you have a
I
bye
have
right
to start.
now?
I had to pick up a QB off the waiver wire. I had to pick a QB up off the waiver wire. I'm starting Tannehill right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. The playoffs in fantasy should not start this week because of the buys.
It always kind of was a week early. Like I think he wanted to avoid like a championship game with buys when it was like a 16-week season. But now that it's like it is, it needs to be moved back 1 to 2 weeks.
Is this a fair trade? I did offer Morton. I offered him Cooper Kupp and Tannehill for Tua.
I would say so.
And I also offered him because it's a keeper league, mind you, since Cooper Kupp's hurt. And I also offered it for Buffalo's QB.
Yeah,
I think that's fair either way, right? If it's a keeper league.
Yeah.
We'll see. If that happens, I might actually do okay. If I don't feel good about it, Max. We'll see. But we'll have stuff to talk about. I promise. It'll be a very, very special
Max, start making the list.
Checking it twice.
You better have 6 keys next week because Kenny's reading the same crumpled poem on the ground.
All right, you got it.
All right, so here we are at the end of another podcast. We've made it. What week is this? What week is this? Week something?
I think we're going to
13?
15? 14.
It's something like that. Whatever the record is, plus one. Here we are. You got any last lines, last thoughts here before we sign off? Old Kenneth J. Paltrow the third.
I am confident about the Washington Commanders, and that's never worked out in the past. But it's only happened like 3 times in the last 25 years. So I'll do it again. Go Commanders!
How about you there, Sizzling Maxine?
No, it's going to be it's crazy because we've had a game every week for 14 weeks and or 13 weeks and just to have a bye week to kind of do whatever and not have to pay attention to something on a Sunday is going to be weird.
It is. I think I'm gonna make some Christmas cookies, make some sausage balls or something. Get plumped up.
That's why you're so tired because you've been doing that for your work because you're Santa Claus.
Eddie gets in the spirit on the bye week.
I save the environment, Kenny. I'm fighting against climate change because
by wrapping
polluters like you
in biodegradable wrapping paper.
Jesus. Oh well, holy cow! Had to say it at least on the episode once. Here we are at the end of the episode. I'm your host, Medium Daddy Cool Eddie Jenkins. For your host, Kenneth J. Paltrow III, the new quarterback himself, and Mr. Sizzling Bacon, Max Bacon, saying, remember, hope is seeing light in spite of being surrounded by darkness. See ya.
What site do you use for those?